This is the Smoky Monkey Productions crew. I'm Fetus Machine.
I'm T-Bone.
And this is a review of World War II Multiplayer Edition.
Multiplayer edition.
Alright, first category that we're going to hit on is gameplay. Start us off, T-Bone.
Gameplay is... I personally like it. It's more of like an RTS style gameplay. You look down on your soldiers and your vehicles and you choose one of your soldiers or one of the vehicles and you move them into position. You can control their firing rate and all that stuff and their direction. But what you really do is you just put them in strategic places and then you wait. That's really more of what the gameplay really is.
Well, just not the gameplay for me, it definitely takes time. And these are big maps and it just takes time to get anywhere, and when you have like an army, if you will, and you have to position each person into its place, it does take time. And you got the big maps and you got to walk your soldier all the way over if your vehicle's destroyed.
Yeah.
Which just there seems to be a few flaws in it, like technical flaws, like there's some in the game that could affect your whole gameplay. One that happened to me, for example, was a tank exploded on the bridge, and at the end of the mission I needed to rescue people with a vehicle and bring them back, and I couldn't complete that. I had to start all over again because the tank was broken on the bridge and I couldn't get past it. Now I know that that's kind of realistic, but it's just, these maps take a long time to finish, and you're like 15 minutes in, and just to have that happen to you, it really...
Yeah, these are some of the biggest.
And these aren't, and it isn't easy.
No, it's not easy.
If you want to go ahead and hit up on the difficulty.
There's a huge, like 90 degrees steep learning curve for this thing. And unless you sit there and read the tutorials for each little thing, you're not going to get it. I know I didn't get it because reading's for fags, and I didn't read the tutorials. And it took me a good hour to even learn how to do anything. And even still, I couldn't master the point where I just kind of threw the controller and let him do the rest.
It's definitely not new user friendly. Like it definitely has a steep learning curve, and steep learning curve. I mean, I'd say
I didn't like that.
All right, well, let's go ahead and segue over to graphics.
Whoa.
Which I thought
slow your roll
good after we go ahead and give gameplay its score.
There we go. Now you're getting it.
And what would you like to give the gameplay?
I want to give it a solid 6.
Sounds good to me.
I would give it more to the learning curve's a bitch.
And the difficulty and just the moving your guys around. I mean, it's whenever you actually get to a spot, it's a really good game. Yeah. But it takes a while to get there. Yeah. But getting there, definitely time consuming.
So what was the next category again?
Graphics.
Graphics. Okay. I did like the graphics. They were really good. Considering the size of the maps and the kind of grand scale of the battles, it was good graphics.
Explosions and then just...
Yeah, explosion. It wasn't like an 8-bit pixelated thing, so it was... Which it was...
It had nice, smooth texture, God's eye view.
Yeah, the RTS, Warcraft, StarCraft style game. I can't really find anything wrong with the graphics.
I mean, just...
Oh, well, actually, there is one thing I can pick out wrong. You can easily lose your men on some levels, because a lot of levels have a lot of jungles, and if you forget that you put a guy in the bushes, he's lost.
Yeah, the color scheme can kind of confuse you.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, with that said, what would you give the graphics?
Again, I would give them like a 7.
Let's raise it up to a 7.5. I think it deserves it. Yeah.
Whatever.
It was definitely strong. It was definitely good.
It was alright, strong.
All right. What category you want to hit up next?
Sound.
All right, we'll go sound. Now, one thing I want to point out first is that what I've noticed with the sound, I don't know if they're going to fix it later on, they might have already, but whenever I was playing it, whenever you play multiplayer, you can only hear sound from one person.
Yeah.
So say, like, it was, like, the other one's completely silent, and one is, you hear all the sound from. So it kind of like took me out of the experience because I wasn't hearing anything, and what I would hear is like, oh, there's gunshots, but I'm not getting shot at. Oh, it's because I mean, yes, a split screen you get it, but to not have it at all on one side's pretty a negative thing.
I don't play the much multiplayer, and during the campaign,
it's just the split screen as well.
Yeah. Well, again,
split screen is where it happened.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had that 10-minute session. We just didn't know what was going on because the sound was so off.
Right. And then just to finish up here, also with sound, I felt that like it was real quiet. Like there wasn't any. I mean, they're not supposed to expect background sound or anything, but
any ambient sound.
Yeah, it was all either your footprints or the shots being fired. There wasn't any like background music to really, give it that extra oomph
Yeah,
to
no
the
wind,
sound
no
category.
birds, nothing really going on.
Right.
So,
So I'm just gonna give it. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give it a 5.
a 5?
Can we agree on that?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about replayability. Now, this is the whole reason that they've made this edition, this multiplayer edition.
Yeah.
But the one big problem, and it's going to happen with all these indie games, and I feel sorry for them, but it's just because they're not. People aren't really aware of them. It could be a great game, but people don't know about it. They don't. It's
Right.
it just goes under. But I've tried the multiplayer to actually get into it, and I was not able to find a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Sheesh.
I mean, I've played co-op with you
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff
really-
like that.
There's really no point in making a whole separate version for online play if no one's going to play online. That kind of defeats the purpose of making it.
Yeah, I know. It's a real shame. It could have been real. I mean, I heard.
Like the game's good. It's just no one gives a shit. Which is the
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, I would like to get the full multiplayer experience to try and justify the replayability more. But from what I was able to play, we're gonna have to give it 6.5.
6.5.
6.5.
All right, yeah.
All right, and last topic of the day: value.
How much was it anymore?
It was $3.
$3.
Now,
That's 3 times more than you usually pay for an indie game.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's the most expensive that they can make an indie game. I'm pretty sure.
It's 2 more than.
And with $3, that definitely increases everything. Everything has to be of better quality. You would expect because, more value goes into it. You're expecting better.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, do you think that it holds up to its? Does it justify the price tag?
Considering the fact that it's a version of it made for multiplayer, and there is no multiplayer, the game is very hard. It's very the maps are huge, which is both good and bad. It's a double-edged sword in that one. I don't think it deserves having a $3 price tag. I really don't. I mean, I applaud their effort. I really do. Good job, but it doesn't really work out when no one knows that you did it.
Yeah.
So I would say a 4.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I
4.
don't think. Yeah, I can't really.
So then,
Yeah.
what would our final score be for this whole thing?
Our final score, I'd have to give it a 6.
6.
Yeah.
That sounds
Fair.
Right. 6.
Yep.
That's good.
All right, and that's the end of the video. This is Smoke Productions Crew. I am Fias Machine.
I'm T-Bone.
Signing off.